Alright, kiddos. In this video we're going to learn how to solve quadratic functions by graphing. We've been looking at graphs, and we've been looking at vertices and lines of symmetry and things like that, but now we're actually going to get to some quadratic equations and you're going to have to solve them. So here we go. Alright, so here's what your notes look like. Your notes say solving quadratic functions, note 6 by graphing. We just looked at analyzing 6. Don't worry about the numbers and everything, but this is the one we're going to do. Solving quadratic functions. Alright. Over here on the left side I have some steps for us to do. Let's get that bigger so we can all see it. We first need to write our equation as a y equals. I want it to look like a function. If it's a function, then I can put it into my calculator. Number 2 says to substitute given x values for y values. We're not going to do that. We're going to let your calculator work. We're also not going to do number 3. 4 says we're going to find the x-intercepts. X-intercepts are going to be our zeros, and they're also going to be my roots. Okay, these are going to be my solutions to my quadratic equations. Alright, so slide these notes over to the right side, and we have these 3 examples that I want to do. Alright, so question number 1, first things first, is it solved for 0? If it's solved for 0, then it can be rewritten as y equals 2x squared plus 14x plus 24. Alright, and if I have it looking like that, I can put it in my calculator for f of 1x equals the same thing. Alright, so let's take a look at what your calculator is going to give us. Here's my calculator. Alright, turn your calculator on, and of course let's clear everything out. Get rid of all that stuff. Let's press the scratch pad button until we get to the graph. And there's f of 1x. Ooh, I guess that's kind of not bright. There we go. That's a little bit less bright. All right, and in here we're going to put our 2x squared, 2x squared plus 14x plus 24. If you hit enter, it is going to give us a picture of our line. Now, on your line, you can look and see that it crosses at 2 different points. It crosses once at -3, and it crosses once at -4. Those 2 x values are your solutions. So here's how you write your answers. We want the value of x. Well, x equals -3, and it equals -4. That's how you write your solutions. That's the whole idea behind solving quadratics, all right, and knowing that the x-intercepts and the roots and the equations and the solutions are all the same thing. All right, let's keep going. What about question number 2? Again, question number 2, the equation must be solved for 0. If you have that, then you can put this stuff into your calculator for f1 of x. Alright, so remember, on your calculator, if you press the tab button, it brings up that function menu. We go up and let's replace our first function with this function. Let's do x squared plus 4x plus 4. Hit enter, and now look at that one. That one only touches the x-axis one time, and it's at -2. Alright, so the solution for number 2 is just x equals -2. We could have a possible 2 solutions, or you could have a possible 1 solution. I wonder what's going to happen about this one. First off, you see question number 3? That's not equal to 0. So I need to move the -3 right here. And when you move something across the equal sign, you have to change its sign. So that's still going to be a 2x squared plus 4x. But instead of a -3, when we move it over here, it's going to be a +3 equals 0. And this can go into my calculator. So press the tab button on your calculator, go back up to F1, get rid of that, and let's press in 2x squared plus 4x plus 3, enter. And what do you notice about that one? That one doesn't touch the x-axis at all, anywhere. Again, these are x-intercepts. All right, if it doesn't touch the x-axis, then you have something called no solutions. That's how you solve quadratic equations by graphing.